So here we are again with episode 10 of the Raptor Rundown in the 23-24 season. I told you he'd be here when he can make it. He's here today. The man who never brings the golf energy. My co-host of the At the Buzzer podcast. G, how you doing today, my friend?
Yeah, life-wise, I'm good. I'm well. I'm thankful to be here. But in terms of sports-wise and sports fan-wise, I might have a few gripes. I might have a few complaints to write to the manager. But overall, I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Um, I'm, I'm. It's too hard to figure this. No, it's not hard to figure this out. They're junk. Raptors are junk. People, please don't get fooled by this. The Raptors are junk. That's my phrase of the day.
I
And you might say, well, Mo, why are you so down on the Raptors? I told you this a little bit when we pre-gamed. It was the Wizards and the Spurs that put you down 20 points. That should not and cannot happen.
if
And
there
look,
was
you just got handled by the Celtics by 24.
like there's a certain level of like, okay, you got beat by the best team in the league. They spanked you. Okay, but there's like a short list of people probably in the NBA that you don't want to have them beat you for one, but like blow you out. And it's got to be Kuzma and Jordan Poole at the top of that list. Like guys that kind of just have coasted on their skill and offensive ability to the point of ending up on Washington and then getting beat down by those two. It's like, whoa.
And and here's the thing. I text you in the first half. This is a true story, by the way. I texted you in the first half. I said the Raptors are down 15 and they just missed an alley oop. This team is junk.
I saw that replay. It was Precious, right?
Yes.
It was pretty indicative of the game from what I saw. Um,
I mean, I mean, gee, where do we go from here? We got Milwaukee coming up next.
well, I feel like we're stuck in the same gear, and I've got a term for it that I was thinking about when it comes to the James Harden worlds and people repeating the same mistake. Follow me on this. It's the shiny object syndrome. So it's seeing a shiny object and running after it, but it's not in your best interest to go running after that shiny object right now. So to me, it's an SOS. It's like you're calling for help, but you don't even realize it. And and the Raptors are attracted to this idea that, oh, if we play like a team and Pascal scores 40, we look pretty good. We look pretty good. And it's like, no, you
Look at
don't. No, you don't. I got to be
look at
honest.
it this way.
So
The Raptors are 5-5, right?
same as the Knicks, who are looking pretty good.
But but I have more faith in the Knicks right now than I do the Raptors. Let me tell you that right now.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
You know
And
who
here
they are.
let's say these we didn't get these two miracle comeback. I know we did. Just I know they're gonna hammer me in the comments for this. But let's say the Raptors are now 3-7. That's where this team should be. It's 3-7.
Hmm. That's what I mean
And
about that
what the
shiny
Raptors
object.
what the Raptors are doing is they're giving the NBA fans false hope that this team is better than it is. And they're
Mhm.
not. They're just not.
Yeah, like it's the strangest victory to say like you avoided getting embarrassed, and then yes, that is a victory, but it's one of the strangest victories you can get because it's an avoidance of disaster that you're celebrating, and you go,
Put it
okay,
this way,
well,
and I know you don't understand the line, but I'm gonna give this to you. Vegas had the Raptors plus 9.5, which means they were spotting the Wizards 10. That means the game virtually started 10-0 in Vegas for the Wizards. That's how much faith they had in the Raptors to demolish this team. And they won by 4 points. And that was only because they had shot free throws at the end of the game.
yeah, it wasn't a clear cut one either, right? There was some like, and it took Yeah, huge effort from guys that seem to have not been present for the whole first half, and I don't know, I've seen this in Dallas Mavericks land a little bit, right? Where, uh
Yeah, and I've been right about them too.
yeah, because
I've been absolutely 100% right about them too.
it's like you look great on the golf course on the days that you're good, that's no lie, but when you add up the numbers, it's not adding up to you being a good golfer. And you know what? If we're gonna talk about golf energy around here, the Raptors
I
got
don't know. Some guy talks about golf energy around here. You know,
it's a
shout out to
trend.
Roller with hashtag golf energy.
Hey, speaking of which, I saw Boston cleaned up the Knicks tonight, who just have so many weapons. And not to get off the Raptors, but comparatively, like they feel like different classes of teams, and the Raptors think they can compete with those ones like legitimately.
No, and the thing is, the Raptor fans are going to start believing it because now you know what's going to happen is they're going to start saying we're in every game no matter what. No, you're not. You're not. I'm sorry, you're not.
Yeah,
You
like
got disposed of by the Celtics. You got disposed of by Philadelphia.
didn't Portland beat us?
Portland, Portland beat you. By the way, the Lakers beat Portland. By the way, so thumbs up on that one.
That's another one I saw that I was like, all right, you were getting beat most of the game, or I think you were at least, and then you pull it out at
It
the
was
end against
close.
Portland. Is that a win? I guess when LeBron's not playing and stuff, but to be talked about as a contending team, you shouldn't be celebrating wins over 14 and 15 seeds. Like I'm with Charles Barkley on that. Like just because you did the basics of your job doesn't really deserve a celebration, acknowledgement. Yeah, but not a
No,
celebration.
and this goes right back to what I said on at the buzzer. Goes back to what I said about go back to episode 1 of the Raptor rundown. In fact, I said the Raptors have a habit of playing down to the competition, and they're not good enough to compete with the Bucks
Mhm.
and the Suns and the upper echelon of the NBA. I said it in episode 1. Go back and watch it.
Yeah,
It's it. I tell you, I got to be right like 80% of the time on my takes
mhm. It
on
can be
these
a
things.
burden. It can be a curse. Patrick Beverley called it with, I think, saying that there's no dogs on the Raptors. Like, you could argue, certain guys demonstrate that energy sometimes, but there really isn't like a
It's
consistent.
sporadic.
Yeah, it's sporadic dog. It's not like the dog that is just always that. Like Boucher's
There,
probably as much as you get. You
there's
know,
not that guy on the Raptors,
let's give Boucher
and
a little bit because he does.
I know we I know we speak highly of Scotty Barnes around here because he's our best player. But there's not that guy on the Raptors that's just like on any given night, get on my back and let's go to work. There's not that guy on the Raptors. Is that fair to say?
Well, a lot of people would point to Pascal and his 40 or whatever, 39, and say, "Oh, he put them on his back." But to me, that no, he helped them again just avert disaster. Like
But
he came
that
in at the last second.
that's if you're looking at the box score. That's if
Hmm.
you're looking at that's a box score fan who will
Hmm.
look at Pascal's numbers and go 38. Oh, he had a good game.
It
For
was like Luka
me,
last year,
who
right?
who watches the Raptors every night and comes on here and does these rundowns every night. I'm telling you, G, it's there's not that guy on the roster that's like get on my back and let's go.
I tend to agree with you, and the fact that there's nights like tonight where they'll point to Pascal and say like, "Oh, see, he's got the ability to do that. We just need to like find the." And it's like, man, that's the same old song, isn't it? Of like, he shows it and then he takes it away. Why do you continue to bet on that being the best bet? Like I know there's not an alternative out there, but that's why you rebuild, right?
Yes, but as long as Raptors fans see glimmers of hope like they have this week, they're not gonna settle for a rebuild.
So
And I've said it, huh?
what's worse, rebuild or bottom of league irrelevancy?
Well, the Raptors have been irrelevant forever.
That's
That's
fair.
the problem.
That's fair.
Re- Like
Yeah.
like
It's like
let
less than
let's
interesting.
let's let's take an objective look at this. As much as we love the Toronto Raptors, we're an irrelevant franchise. If the NBA could get out of Canada, they would. Let's be real. It's the corporate money that's keeping the Raptors in Toronto.
Mhm.
Um, but but we're irrelevant.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
mean, even in our championship year in 2019, I believe it was when we had Kawhi.
Mm.
Even in our championship year, all we heard was, "Oh, they only made it this far because everybody got hurt in every series they played." Guess what? It happened. We're the champs for 29. There's nothing you could do that takes that banner from the ceiling.
No, that's
But
exactly it
even
for
but
20.
my point is, even in our championship season,
Yeah.
people made excuses for everybody else, and we were still irrelevant, even though we were the champs.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're always the underdog, which is fine, right? But when you kind of play the middle too
Hey,
hard.
hey, I'm an Oilers fan. I know what being the under. I'm always the underdog every night because the Oilers, as good as Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are, not to turn this into a hockey thing, but nobody expects anything from us.
And maybe that's Toronto's problem is like there's now an expectation of being somewhat competitive or good. They've built this reputation of being like a playoff team almost every year that it feels like a downgrade to turn it into a rebuild or something. But I don't know. There's something really uncomfortable about that middle no man's land thing where there's so much evidence to say that this is going to happen on the regular, compared to the evidence that says this is a weird aberration. Like, whoa, that probably
Okay,
won't happen
I'm
again.
I'm just I'm gonna throw out a team, and I'm gonna put us down 20 points at the end of the first half on all these teams. Okay, and you tell me. Okay, I'll start off slow.
You can't get worse
The
than
Orlando,
Washington, right? And it's like,
the, the Orlando Magic. Do we
well,
come back against Orlando if we spot them 20?
I don't think like outside of literally the worst top, like you couldn't even come back from Portland.
If we spot Shea 20 points, are we coming back on Shea?
Literally, I don't think any team outside of four, and we almost
Okay,
didn't come
what are the four teams that we're coming back on if we're down 20?
back. San Antonio, like the two of them that we just did, San Antonio,
San
Washington,
Antonio, Washington,
Detroit,
Memphis.
maybe
I'll give you Memphis.
Memphis or Detroit would be in there. Um, Charlotte, maybe again.
That's bottom feeding.
Yeah, yeah, like as G League rosters as you could get.
You know
Lakers,
what?
I
I
put
would like to see
Lakers in there.
at this point. At this point, I would like to throw out a challenge to Masai Ujiri and the Toronto Raptors because you just gave me an idea. Let's have the actual Toronto Raptors play at Scotiabank Arena against the 905 and just see what happens. Just
Man,
see what happens.
there was something in Marquise Noel's posture or like his
People
face. Everybody else was like kind of clapping and stuff. He was just kind of standing there, like I was like, I think
people
that dude
people
knows
are going
this
to be
is
laughing at me for that statement. People are going to be laughing at me. But and in the comments they'll be coming for me. But I will tell you, I seriously think the 905 might be able to beat this Toronto Raptor team.
on any given night. I think yes, because we could show up like we did tonight, and if you spot a team of professional players, 20 points, you might not come back, right? And there's so much evidence to say that there's more likely to show up like this in the first half than not. Like,
Against better competition.
do they? Well, here's the question: do they play up to their competition? Do they raise their
No,
level of play when they play against a
no, because
few?
Boston just showed us.
Yeah, and one yeah, that
Boston took us to the woodshed.
and that was the end of the
And for
road
that
trip.
ma-
You could add a few
and for
things
that
in.
matter, so did Philly.
Yeah,
So did Philly.
man.
As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna go as far as to say we beat Minnesota.
I
How'd
think that
that happen?
that was on the first game, right? So that was,
Yeah, I remember you were bouncing around with your Raptor hat and you were feeling all
hey,
good.
people should be pretty stoked when you win against a team what that was, now like, 2nd in the West. That was positive start. But as the evidence has come in, it's not the talent, it's not it's the will to win as a collective. It's just so not there on a regular basis, and when it's
And
not,
you know what? I'm
gone.
I'm not even I'm not even mad that the Raptors are mid. Okay. The thing I'm mad at the Raptors for, and the reason I say I'm done with this team, even though I'll be doing more of these Raptor rundowns because it's kind of what I do here.
Yo,
But
commitment.
I'm done. Okay, I won't say I'm done with this team. I'm done believing in this version of the team. Is that fair to say?
I feel like your faith probably hasn't been that strong in this current version from the get-go.
Anyway,
And honestly, that's fair enough because as you're seeing, you're kind of right on that it's not something that you should have a whole lot of hope for if it's going to be this construction. And I think that was my caveat to the whole season was, man, and I don't think he's a horrible player or person, but if Pascal's your lead guy, I think the future is not very super bright for Toronto. And come trade deadline or December, if he's still your lead guy and there hasn't been movement, I see doom, doom, and it's
anyway, here was my point that I was going to make was simply that the Raptors. I'm not even mad that they're mid. I'm not mad that they're bad. I'm mad that they're I'm mad that they're consistently inconsistent. And by that I mean, why do we get these efforts when you're down 25? Why can't you just play and be the Raptors and be competitive? I'm not even asking you to win. As a matter of fact, I've been on record as saying it's beneficial for us to lose. But I'm saying if you're gonna be this competitive from jump. Don't wait till you're down 20
the Knicks are
and
a
then
perfect example of a team that plays from the start and is just not as good as a Boston, but they show up every single night playing
who's
hard,
that?
consistent. They're mid, right? They're the same level as us, but I'd be way happier as a Knicks fan with the team right now than I am as a Raptors for that very reason that you just said. Is it's so okay to be like expecting something that's consistently there. Like I expect effort from New York. They've never not shown it. When I see Raptors and they show me something amazing, I go, "Wow, I guess I'll expect a bit more of that." And then just like absolutely nothing, the opposite, and it's very yeah, black and white, and it seems like they just
Like
check it.
like this Raptor team, I'm gonna say they finished 37 and 40, 37 and 37 and 43 or whatever the number is.
Somewhere in there again. It's the Chicago Bulls. Like you just make other teams sad because you just aren't doing anything. You're just rotting. You're taking players and rotting away. It's a, pick a lane and pursue it. Like Houston, man, didn't I tell you at the start of this year Houston's going to be all right? They're
What
doing
did I
all
tell
right.
you? What did I tell you about Houston? I said they could be 22 and 60 or they could be 50 and 32. Do you remember me saying this?
Oh yeah, and my chips are and we're on the 50 and 32, which is so far looking like the more likely.
And they're 6 and 3.
Hmm.
Shout out to former Raptor Steady Freddy.
Yeah, and it shows. So we
Oh
lose
man, wouldn't he
Freddie
look
and
awesome
Nick
on this
Nurse.
team now?
So
Man, do we miss him.
take a look at this. Nick Nurse right now is sitting at the top of the league, number one, with the Philadelphia 76ers. Fred Van Vliet's 6 and 3 with a team that was supposed to be trash. And the Raptors are right where they were and just have expiring contracts that much closer to expiry and no clear path forward on identity. It's
And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I know it's only 10 games in, and people tell me I'm overreacting. But how are you supposed to recruit free agents to Toronto when your
yeah,
team looks like this?
that's a really good point.
Kevin Durant Kevin Durant is sitting there laughing at us. And so is Joel Embiid, and so is Anthony Edwards, and so is
You want to know
any
how
other
bad,
player that you can think of.
you want to know how bad it is? I bet James Harden's sitting there right now going, I bet Toronto would sign me. There's only one team that would be as bad as the Clippers, and he's looking at Toronto right now going, I could live in TO.
By the way, I know this is the Raptor rundown, but I got to touch on the Clippers here
Yeah, yeah.
because I'm gonna say this because you defend this man like he's that dude
But I'm willing to own
every
it.
time we
I'm willing to
every
own it.
time we talk,
Yeah.
and now the Clippers are 3-6. So
I'm
you
willing
know,
to say he's not that dude anymore, or at least right now, that's for sure. And
right now he's not that dude,
it's
and
clear.
he had the. And I'd like to point out he had the ball and he dished it to the corner to James Harden.
And he could have vetoed the James Harden trade. I'm sure if he said no, the Clippers would have said no. Like he's got that much pull.
I have a question because, and I don't mean to veer into Clipperland because I'm gonna get into this tomorrow night on the podcast as well. But if the Clippers lose to the Nuggets tomorrow and go 0-5 with James Harden, how much room does Ty Lue have left?
Well, they're like the
And
Raptors.
you
They'll probably stick with certain things to the death. Like they'll just stick with.
and you know how I feel about Ty Lue, but we'll get into that
He's in
more
a similar situation as like
tomorrow.
Pascal Siakam or something, where they've already made the gigantic investment in him, where it's like, oof, to pull out on your investment at this point is like, damn, you put in so much. And with Ty Lue, they put in so many years now with him and stuff where it's like, yeah, to pivot is harder at this point than it is to, but
Is it?
that's the
Is
question.
it?
That's probably their daily conversation, at least I imagine with guys like, uh, yeah, with Ty Lue or
And
who knows?
And because I'm the master at hooking it back to the Raptors on these rundowns, that's how I feel about the Raptors. They've
Mm,
got no direction. They don't know what they're doing, and they're praying that this team gets better.
mm.
That's all they're doing.
There's something just off energetically that's like, why can't you guys just show up as a professional team? Like you're gonna lose games. Nobody's gonna beat you up for that. You're gonna have a stinker of a night. That's fine. But 3 times in this last 2 weeks, we've been in neck to neck fights with 15 seeds that are trying to be in the lottery, and we lost to one of them. Like,
Yeah, and the teams that are good are schooling us.
yeah, yeah,
The Boston's are putting us to bed.
yeah. And there's a couple moments where you see this, like, good looking team that's like the Chicago Bulls pointing to their like best moments and being like, see, this is worth keeping together when the whole league knows it ain't working and it's not going to work. So do something.
No,
But it,
you know why that Bulls situation doesn't work though? Because that Bulls situation was built around Lonzo.
mhm.
And if Lonzo ain't there, it doesn't work because it's built for Lonzo's vision and his passing ability. And without Lonzo there, their backup point guard doesn't have Lonzo's skill or vision. So when you're looking for an open man, the play doesn't pan out as if Lonzo was there.
So yeah, why would you put your $1 billion franchise plan on one dude, right? Like it's bad organizational planning. And
The
the fact that
Raptors
they
did it.
knew he was going to be injured in a big bad way of like it was not looking good on the recuperation and they still didn't pivot, whose fault then, right? It's like, okay, you had an opportunity to realign your strategy, get different people, realize that he's got no timeline on coming back right now, and tragic, but you have to now pivot and develop a new team. And they're like, no, we'll wait.
That team built for Lonzo though, and that's the thing.
Like you're going to invest all of DeRozan, all of Levine, all that money, all hinging on the health of one dude who is like, good, but he's not like the best, guard in.
No, but if you give him a DeRozan and a Levine, and you just let him pass the ball around,
Would have been a good
he's good.
combo, but would you bet your franchise on it 3 times?
No, I personally wouldn't.
And
But
same with,
that's the Raptors. See, I just bagged the Clippers just now, right? You just heard me bag on the Clippers for being 0-4.
yeah,
But I respect the Clippers. You know why?
they picked a
Because
lane.
the Clippers at least picked a lane.
Yeah, they're the freaking lazy, overpaid, old, team that has legends on it. Guys that
The
are
Raptors haven't. The Raptors haven't picked a lane.
legends.
The Raptors are wait. Let's wait and see how it plays out. By then, it's too late.
I would argue they picked a lane and it's not been working and they keep trying to pick it. And it's like, if you just give it more time, and that's why I kind of compared it to the Bulls. It's like you're almost given a figment of the imagination. Like when X happens, it's like, man, X isn't happening. You guys got to know that. And it
We
hasn't
don't
happened.
even know what X is.
Well, let's say it's for
That's the
Chicago, it's
problem.
Alonzo Ball. It's like when he's there, it's going to work perfect, and you'll see. And the Raptors keep saying like when Pascal and Scotty and OG and the 6'9" formless thing are working like healthy like they should, you'll see. And I think we'll be waiting for a long time on both, and that's the problem. It's just a refusal to back down on your strategy of for Masai being the 6'8" model of OG, Pascal, Scotty, Boucher, just long multiple position guys, and a fast-paced breaking team with two quick guards hasn't worked out with this group. Maybe that's a good system, but it's not the group, and it's just they still believe it is. It's clear,
It's not. It's
and
not. And if I didn't have 72 more of these games to go, I probably wouldn't watch the Raptors much more this season. And I say that because I've seen enough of this team to know its DNA already
that's
in 10 games.
that's a fair point, and I think that was my feeling today. Was like, oh, this is who they are. Like
Yeah, this is not a mirage anymore.
it's happened
This is
four.
who they
Yeah. You could almost see probably every game they've had a quarter like this, where they've just completely disintegrated into, like, not a bad team, like a team that is
except
barely.
for that fifth game where they played absolutely perfect, which I told you would be the best game of the season.
Yeah.
Every game they've had a quarter where they collapsed. Every
Yeah,
game.
minimum of one, and, yeah. Phew, if I was the coach right now, I'd be a little nervous, not for my job, but just how do you make this work? How do you make this work? 'Cause
You
it is
don't.
bleak.
And it's funny because now I'm sitting there going, ah, Nick Nurse, not so bad.
Fred Van Vliet, not so bad, right?
Yeah, because and especially for Freddie, who's a former Raptor who I absolutely adore. I
Yeah,
think Freddie was a glue guy.
man, I
I
think
think
that
Freddie
that
was
was
one
the
of the
DNA.
guys in the locker room.
Yeah,
Uh, I think Freddie was one of the guys in the locker room that kept everybody together, kind of thing.
kept them in line, no doubt. I can't imagine anybody in the locker rooms doing that right now in a way like Schroeder maybe, but nobody knows him, right? He's not a familiar face in Toronto and stuff, so it's probably been a huge culture shift for them that way, and they probably didn't realize how much Fred valued or had value in that too of like, the adult in the room,
And
you know?
And I gotta point this out again. When they beat Minnesota on opening night,
Mm,
they celebrated like they had just won the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
yeah,
I
curb that
hate to keep bringing
enthusiasm.
that up.
Yeah,
I hate to keep bringing that up, but that's gonna stick with me all year.
yeah. It's like they're too short-sighted or something of, looking at maybe that as a big victory and nothing past is, essential.
Because and this is me being a spoiled Laker fan coming out now too. Is I remember one year when the Lakers were up 2-0 in the finals, and Kobe was he was serious. He was all business.
Mm,
And the reporter goes, "You're up 2-0 in the finals." He says, "Are you mad?" He goes, "No, I'm not mad."
mm.
He goes, "Well, why aren't you happy? Job's not done. Job's not done."
Yeah, it's one thing to
And
celebrate, but it's one thing to, yeah, lose sight.
and I know it's not fair to compare the Raptors to Kobe Bryant.
Mm,
But my whole thing is you celebrated like you won the chip on night one.
mhm.
So what does the rest of the season mean at this point? Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. No, it's that sense of too much celebration too early, it really can work against you, I think, and we're maybe seeing some energy consequences of that, so that's a good point. I could see that being, just a little symbol, right, of how excited they were at the beginning, and then just rapidly reality kicked in, and it was like, "Oh, geez, we've got."
They always talk about the new coach bump. When the new coach comes in, the team wins 2, 3 in a row, and everybody's feeling good.
Yeah,
The Raptors
going that
didn't
way.
get the new coach bump, and they're exactly where I said they'd be.
Mhm. Like, they seem a
They're
little lost
exactly.
in terms of leadership, like, Freddie was kinda checked out for half the year probably last year because he knew the writing on the wall. This wasn't working, he's leaving. But when you see Scotty Barnes just emotionally, like, freaked out in that first half, he looked quite, like, distressed, right? It doesn't seem like there's a lot of leadership going on that, like, would be preventative medicine to that. Like, you don't want your lead young guy looking like he's out at sea by himself, and Pascal eventually, I guess, came in, cleaned up some points here and there, but I think Boucher was the reason they escaped with the win and, some of those guys,
See,
but
that's the thing. You should never use the words "escaped with the win" in the same sentence.
well, that's that I know I mean it though in the sense that it is an escape. It's not a victory. It's an escape. It's like if somebody's working at the grocery store and they spill aisle 7, just because you cleaned up aisle 7 doesn't mean that you had a great day at work. You know, like you made a mess. Raptors in the first half made a horrible mess, and they cleaned it up. That's not something to celebrate. It means like, yeah, thank you for cleaning it up. Good.
Doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, but you've knocked over
And
shelf four times in the last week. That's not a good employee. You're not supposed to knock over grocery shelves 4 times in 1 week, you know?
and I would be more positive, G, if it was the Knicks they did this to, or 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 the Suns, or somebody who meant something in this league. But
Yeah,
you can't even do it. You can barely do it against the Wizards and the Spurs. So when Phoenix comes to town, Kevin Durant's gonna eat your lunch and smile in your face.
man. Yeah, or they'll have one of those games where they're just, "Oh, back to being professionals and compete with the best of them." "Oh, wow, look at them go," just and then next night, "Oh, geez, we're playing, Charlotte. Look out. It's gonna be a."
We're gonna sleepwalk for the first half.
Yeah, and try to escape with a win or something, right? And it's just too much of that is present clearly.
And the reason I truthfully do these Raptor rundowns is I try to well, we try to have fun first and foremost when we're talking Raptor ball, but also to give fans realistic expectations.
That's fair.
To give Raptor fans specifically realistic expectations of this team.
Do you think Grady
Because I
Dick is
guarantee you what's
a
oh,
bright spot?
Grady Dick might be the best reserve player we have at this point. And Raptor fans, that's not a compliment. When you have Gary Trent and OG Ananobi and all Malachi Flynn, the fact that you have to say Grady Dick is your best weapon off the bench is not a compliment.
Yeah. And he didn't even play a ton tonight, did he? Not in the last bits, anyways. But Malachi getting some big minutes at the end was nice to see. And again,
That
default.
always gets minutes. Always.
Mm.
It drives me nuts.
Malachi compared to
Yeah.
they got nobody else, right? It's like Schroeder, him,
But that's
crush.
the thing I keep telling Laker fans about Austin Reeves. They're like, Austin's supposed to be our third option. No, he's not. He just has to be because there's nobody else there.
And it's amazing that he's done the things he's done. But like, yeah, it's ridiculous that he's expected to do any of the things that he's done. Uh, yeah,
And oh man, gee, I don't know.
you
How am
know,
I gonna get through 72 more of these?
finding the light, I guess, is an endless journey, but it's always there. And man, with this one, the light is that it's over, right? There's the light.
Well, see, here's the thing. I'm running out of ways to tell people the same thing. That's the gist of it.
But here's the good thing. When it's bad, you're here. When it's good, you're also here so that people can at least respect the fact that you're not a sunny day fan. You're not here just for the times that it's sunny because it's not going to be much of that. So you wouldn't have much content. But the the bigger fact is you're ride or die, right? It's an element to that that I think speaks to good sports fanship everywhere. That it makes it fun. It's outside of gambling. It's outside of the stuff. It's actually like sticking it through the tough times, and that's painful but worth it when you get to celebrate it when they've come through the other side. And it's just been a long time for the Raptors of the same thing. So I think that's why it's exhausting as a fan. So we haven't seen too much different other than
And
this.
and, and that's the whole thing I'm trying to get across to Raptor fans. Kevin Durant, not coming. Joel Embiid, not coming.
No, it's
Devin
like,
Booker, not coming.
yeah, James Harden, Carl Anthony Towns, yeah, they probably phone
They
him.
might come.
Yeah.
They might come. But even Carl Anthony Towns had himself a game the other night, so
He's got the attitude thing though that just kills me. But yeah, he can be lethal. He can be absolutely lethal. And the T Wolves are a team to fun watch because I'm a huge Anthony Edwards fan, and he
I know
plays.
you're a big Anthony Edwards fan.
Mm.
And just for the record, I know Pascal had 38 or whatever it was tonight. Okay? I can almost guarantee you, not there isn't a Raptor on this team this week. That's going to be my Eastern Conference dude of the week. I'm just telling you now. There probably isn't a Raptor on this team that's going to be my Eastern Conference dude of the week
No,
this
maybe
week.
Jack. I feel like Jack Armstrong had a solid broadcast the other night.
Yeah, can I just give it to Jack?
Straight up. Matty was bugging me
Yes.
tonight, and he wasn't on his game either.
Who's
Trying
that?
Matty D was shining up nuggets that weren't real gold, anyways, tonight. So I feel like Jack is definitely the dude of the week for the Raptors.
Yeah, but as far as the Eastern Conference dude of the week, I don't know. We'll have to talk about that tomorrow.
Keep your
It's
eyes
also a
peeled.
tournament night tomorrow, G,
Oh, that's
for
right.
what
I'll have
that's
the
worth.
night off. That'll be good. We can tune into some. Who's playing tomorrow night? It's Pacers and somebody, or
No, no, they're all tournament games, remember?
yeah, Tuesday and Fridays. But I think there's only what 2 or 3 games on.
No, it's a full slate tomorrow.
Oh wow.
Let's go through this. Oklahoma, San Antonio. Who you got in that one?
I like Oklahoma right now. They seem to be playing pretty decent together. And if
Dallas, New Orleans.
Hate to say it, but New Orleans curse. Poor CJ. Dallas is going to come out with another win. They're playing decent.
Don't worry, Raptor fans. The Lakers will show you how to take care of the Grizzlies. They're Clipper fans. Don't worry about it.
Jeez, yeah. Who's playing Lakers? Oh, Lakers and Grizzlies tomorrow.
Yes.
Should be a tight one.
But anyway, there's like 10 games tomorrow. I'm not going to go through them all. But
Let's say what's your game of the night? I see the T Wolves and Warriors, and that might be the game of the night for me to watch.
I got to be honest, G. I got to be honest. It's the Nuggets and the Clippers for me. Just out of sheer curiosity.
Be honest, you just want to watch it burn. You just want to watch it burn. Everybody
I
slows down. Everybody slows down on the highway for a reason. They gotta see what happened over there. We want to see it burn.
When do the Raptors start their tournament games? Do we know that at all?
I was saying they didn't get invited, and that's fine.
I think they got 5 games in like 9 nights, and they're all tournament games. I think is how it works, dude.
Okay.
I think they got skipped over in these first like 3 tournament nights, and then it's boom, boom, boom. Like your next 5 games are tournament games.
Hey, maybe they'll hit a wave of focus of playing, but who knows? Maybe, yeah.
All right, and while we're on that topic, and I can't believe I have to ask this question. What are your expectations for the Raptors in this in-season NBA Cup tournament?
Well, we can say this for Raptors fans out there, including us: the Raptors are unpredictable. So, in that, there's somewhere in there for an unpredictable thing to happen, which could be to win a couple games. Um,
Maybe all their good games will be on Tuesday and Friday nights, and they'll win the NBA
they're the
Cup.
type of team that could do it, right? Are they not? They're the type of team that would show up, win the NBA Cup, and then finish at 36 and whatever 42, like just have a below average
36 and
season.
42, yeah.
But they'll
36
take
and
out the top teams in the league or something on these crazy game nights, and they'll look better than everybody, and then they'll just steamroll their way to a weird, you know,
they'll be
inconsistent,
36 and
unpredictable.
44 or something, right?
Remember when you said it goes deep somewhere in the Raptors organization? There's something off, and I think it reveals itself how inconsistent they are every single year, and not small ways, but like massive ways of inconsistency. And I don't know how you fix something like that because it seems to be every single year where it's just like, whoa, they could be championship contenders. Look at the squad. And
Can
then
we
it's
talk
like,
about the Wizards for just a minute?
yeah,
Can we talk about the Wizards for just a minute? I was impressed by this ball club tonight. Like there were okay, let me explain. First off, they were up 19 at the half, and their largest lead was like 23. And then the Raptors cut it all the way back to 10 because Pascal had 21 points in the third quarter for some reason. He decided the third quarter, I'm going to play this game.
well, that's
But as
that's
soon
the
as the,
whole thing, right? That we're all saying is
but
like,
as but as soon as the Raptors got it to 10, boom, it was 16 just like that. And I know the Wizards lost. I know the Wizards lost because the Raptors went on a 19-1 run. Think about that. If you had to go on a 19-1 run to beat the Phoenix Suns, is that happening?
I mean, Spurs did it.
Killing my point, G. Killing my point,
Well,
buddy.
I think it speaks to how unpredictable the overall NBA can certainly be at this point, and you can't F around with anybody, especially not some of the best teams. But Phoenix, when they're healthy, because that was just Durant, I think. I don't think they had Beal back at that point when they played Wembanyama on that one. So Sam, Booker, and Beal, yeah, okay. But when you have a healthy squad, no, you're not coming back from 19 down against Devin Booker plus anybody. Like, just not going to happen with Durant and Booker. No, no.
All right, G. I know you're not a gambler, But if I gave you $10 and go put it on any team you want,
For tomorrow night's
who you
game?
picking to win the
Or
who you picking to win the NBA Cup?
ooh, that's a good question, because there's a lot of team coming out with swagger right now. Um, I'm gonna wager on a weird one. Houston Rockets, baby, let's go.
There you go. Let's go.
Let's stir it
But
up. Stir it
like
up.
I said, you said it best though. The Raptors are one of those teams that's so unpredictable they could win the whole thing and we'd be laughing.
Straight up. Straight up. And it still wouldn't give me confidence going into the rest of the season because I already know they can do this. I know they can be good, but can they do it 2 nights in a row, 3 nights in a row, or just have no more nights like this where you just don't show up at all? Like, you can't do that multiple times.
Have the Raptors used up their clunkers already? Like, have they used up the games they're allowed to be bad in?
I think they've already exceeded, like, the really bad clunkers, like, you've already done like 2 or 3 of them. That's
Like,
not
okay, gee, people know you're not here every night, but they don't know that I text you every Raptor night because we love to talk ball.
yo,
But
fact.
but we've seen this Raptor team for 10 games now, and we've been appalled most nights by the effort this Raptor team gives.
And that's what comes back to for me, it's the collective will to just show up for each other and for your fans every night. And the Knicks are my perfect example of a team that's doing that right now. It's like they're not pretty necessarily, but they show up every single night with the same crew and just dog it out. Like that's all we want. That's all I'm asking for as a fan. Um,
Well, look, I here's how I look at it, and I'll break this down to myself and you and this channel, all of it, right? Okay, so I know based on my analytics that my Seahawks live streams carry the channel.
mm,
It's where the subs come from, it's where the watch time comes from. It gets the most views every week on the channel here, right?
mm, okay.
But I can't not show up for my hoopers.
Mm,
I can't not show up for my hockey guys. I can't
mm,
not show up in the summer for my baseball guys.
yeah.
You know, that's why I call it the sports network. Yes, I know the Seahawks carry my channel. I'm aware of this. But I gotta show up for my ball guys. I gotta show up for my hockey guys. I gotta show up for my baseball dudes. I
Hmm.
gotta show up for everybody. That's what keeps me going. And I know the numbers won't be great,
Mm.
but at
And
the same time, I'm here for them.
well, the whole thing is like they get better the more you do the thing, just like anything with a muscle, whether it's uh, practicing or doing the thing that you love. If you show up fully with everything you've got, kind of each time, inevitably it grows. It's like sunshine plus water equals growth. It's like, there's certain basics that seem to develop out of the love for something, and when you don't see it on a squad, and you just know that they don't have that basic ingredient. They're not adding the water and the sun. It's like you're not doing the basics of whatever it is. Just show up, even when it's hard, even when it doesn't pay well, even when it blank. But you're doing the hard thing because it's the right thing for the thing that you've committed to. And when you're getting paid 38 million or 38,000, there are all sorts of people in that organization that are like linked to some sort of common will to be the best they can be. And when your representatives are showing up on a night to night basis where they just aren't wanting or
Well,
showing,
honestly, G,
you know,
I didn't realize this, but I've done a video every day this month so far, and we're 13 days in, so that's pretty good.
you can,
I know I had trouble with the live stream Friday night because my computer kind of glitched out, but
oh yeah,
things happen.
as they will.
But I just feel obligated to show up for my guys, whether they be Hoopers, whether they be hockey guys, whether they be Seahawks fans. And I know the Seahawks fans carry this channel, and I love them for that. But I got to show up for everybody else too.
And that's kind of just it. I get the vibe from Pascal, and it's always been this. So he just doesn't want to be there at that much, you know? It's a bit of a chore for him, I think. Like, on a night-to-night basis, I think it's a chore, and he doesn't have that same Jalen Brunson, Fred VanVleet, like, just I love
See,
difficult
see,
work.
that's why I love Freddie so much though, because Freddie's gonna make mistakes, sure, but I know I'm getting everything Freddie's got on any given night.
Yeah, yeah, that and Pascal, I think, can thrive under adversity, but it seems like, uh, his when he's in a good place, he doesn't have that will to, like, show up in that sword in the corner, way that he can when he's pushed, like tonight. Like, dude, if you don't clean up this mess, people are gonna talk about you in ways that you thought, like, you had heard before, but it's gonna be even worse. So he showed up for a quarter and he put in what, like 30 points in a quarter? It's like,
21, I believe was the
yeah.
number, but I
So
could be wrong.
it's so clearly that it's an attitude slash energy thing for him of like, oh, when I need to, want to, when I've got like the fear of death in me and when I've got anger in me, like he can do it, but it's
Is
not
there too
self-propelled.
is there too is there too much golf energy on this roster right now?
I think so. I think
And
you're
by the way,
I think you're spot on. I think you're spot on, man. But
by
Pascal's
the
always
way,
that way.
subscribe to the channel. I know it's been 51 minutes and probably two people are left here, but
Yo, and
subscribe anyway if you're still here.
and
See, and that's what I mean by I'm the worst self promoter.
hey,
But whatever, dude.
there's
We're
worse,
talking Raptors ball.
out of all the things to be, in the world, being bad at promotions isn't a bad thing, you know? And that's always, your harshest critic, right? It's, inevitable that we're always harder on ourselves. And I'm sure Pascal's the same. I bet he's beating himself up like, "Man, what happened? Why am I only showing up for a 3rd quarter?" Like, I'm sure he's a normal human like everybody else that questions these things, but it's a highly competitive league where guys are competing at such high levels every single night, and he hasn't really been able to show to me that, like, oh my god, I can trust that.
Well, look, I look at it this way, and I keep bringing it back to myself because it's the only thing I know how to compare it to. Is if I miss one of these Raptor rundowns, I'll be forgiven, right? If I start missing two, three, four, five, they're gonna be like, "So you just bailed on us?" Like
Yeah,
that's kind of how I feel about Pascal. He bails for two, three, 4 nights, and then you get one night like this where he decides he's gonna be an all-star.
but only for 10 to 12 minutes, right? It's like, uh, the switch is there,
So,
like
and
bubble,
this is what, and Raptor fans, if you're still with us, because I don't know why you would be 53 minutes into this,
right?
but if you're still with us, this is why I don't get mad when Raptors get snubbed at the All Star game.
Yeah,
This is
it's sort of
why
like
I don't get upset. Because to me, and this is why I love the NBA. Because in the other leagues, you got to send one player from each team to the All Star game, which I think is garbage. I think
mm,
you should have to earn your All Star spot.
man, yeah,
And right now, there isn't a Raptor I would be confident in calling an All Star.
no, not no, not even close, unfortunately. Notoriety, Pascal's gonna get votes just because people know his name and, marketing and stuff, but nobody no, it's like it and that's not a season ender, right, if you don't have an all-star, but it is pretty sad when you've got, yeah, nothing exciting to show for as a representative at the all-star game, right? I think of all these other teams that have had issues with golf energy, like Boston, even in the past. Watching Tatum tonight, just turn it on for a full, like anytime he needed to, when they needed a bucket, it was like no matter what the defense, unless it's a double or triple team, it's probably going to go in the bucket. It's like Tatum was that dude tonight, and my critique for him and Brown have always been the golf energy between the two. But they're young, and I'm starting to see flashes of like, especially from Tatum, that's like, dude, I'm unstoppable. I'm long, I'm
Well,
big.
that's why I'm being patient with Scotty because I've seen enough of Scotty to know that he's gonna grow into being that dude.
Yeah, he's like
And what
he's not even out of puberty yet. He's like 21, you know?
what scares me, G, and I hope this isn't the case, is that he's gonna turn into that dude and he's gonna get traded to New York or Dallas or LA or I
Hey,
just have a gut feeling that
honestly,
he's gonna develop in Toronto and get traded someplace else.
if it's looking like the same franchise opportunities in 5 years that it is now, I hope he gets to go somewhere else. It'd be like, I hope that you go find, because we've had 5 years to support you and build something good under you or whatever it is.
I said the same thing about Connor McDavid with the Edmonton Oilers because I'm an Oilers fan, right?
Yeah.
And I said we have the best player in the world and we can't support him. I said if we're not a legit contender in 5 years, go get your ring, Connor. And that's basically what you're telling Scotty right now. If
Hmm.
we can't support you in the next 3 years, Scotty, go get your ring, buddy.
Yeah. And I guarantee everybody will be telling him the same from all of the other guys on every other team that'll want him, right? Like, it's not going to be a secret if he plays the way he's going to be playing and he keeps it up, that he should be a centerpiece to a team, or everybody's going to want him. So we'll see. Yeah, it'll be really interesting. That's where it gets fun to be a Raptors fan, is like, yeah, when we can think of the positive future things, because there's a blank slate essentially to see what will happen. You get the wheels going, you get excited and stuff. But when you throw in the same old, same old, same old, it's like, oh, I've been on this ride. I've been on it and I'm good. I don't want to be on this ride no more.
See, but they got us. The Raptors got us.
Yeah,
Don't 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 think because we're so negative, guys, right now. Because we've been through this for what 5 seasons now of the
yeah,
Raptors being mediocre.
yeah. And I think Pascal's time is up, where it's that 5 year thing of like, hey man, if you haven't proven yourself to be the superstar, or we haven't proven ourselves to be an organization that can win, we should mutually part ways, because it's not working for either party. You have a salary that says you're a superstar. We're a team that says we want to win championships. Neither seem to be working together. So let's freaking, start it with a new person. We'll see. This is the year they have to choose for Pascal, and I'll be really curious to see what happens. Um,
Please don't re-up Pascal Siakam.
that's a big decision. That's a big decision, man. I wonder what. There was another team too that has a free
You
agent.
just paid Pirtle $20 million. Are you gonna make the same mistake with Pascal?
Oh yeah, to be continued. Oklahoma.
Anyway,
Yeah, I could see him in an Oklahoma City jersey. Send us all your draft picks, no problem. That'd be a good look.
it's
That'd be a
gonna.
good look for him. Shay's the boss. You're long. Do your thing.
You got more spit, or are we saving it for the podcast tomorrow?
Maybe let's save it, and then we can get into some good action tomorrow. And if you've got any teasers that want to plant seeds in your mind or mine for what we're looking for tomorrow, of like breakout performances or
Here's your
epic.
teaser. Here's your teaser. I've ordered the thumbnail for Wednesday's episode of the At
Oh,
the Buzzer podcast.
okay.
It's gonna be a picture of Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and PG-13, and it's gonna read "Trouble in Paradise" with a question mark.
Are you going to leave Westbrook off it?
Yeah, because he's not relevant enough to be
Ooh,
part of the problem.
you know what? I would agree that he's not part of the problem. He's what you see is what you get, and he's giving you the best version of what you see. Like there's
See, that's why, as much as I bag on Russ, I respect Russ for the same reason I respect Freddie.
what you
At
see.
least
Yeah.
as much of a problem as I have with Russ, at least I know what I'm getting from Russ every night.
He's been the same since day one. Isn't going to change. It's for better or worse.
And on that note, tomorrow we will be filming the At the Buzzer podcast. It'll drop Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock.
This is the
This
one
has
teaser I
been.
want to leave
Oh,
folks
you
with.
got a teaser too?
So Dallas is making their final move here of like, oh, maybe they could be a competitive franchise because I think they're on the Scotty Barnes clock, but at the end of it with Luca. It's like if you can't prove yourself to be a franchise in 5 years that can help him win a championship,
I disagree.
he might walk. He might walk type of thing is the pressure cooker, I think, around them is like,
I disagree.
okay,
I think the Mavs are in a better spot than the Raptors, and I
oh
won't get
yeah,
into this too much. I
big
won't
time.
get into this. I won't get into this too much, but I don't see Luca going anywhere.
No,
I,
I think
I,
you're right. I think
I
it's pivoted from where it was. They signed Kyrie, and now he's killing it. It's
yeah. So and don't let the Mavs fool you either. They're a bunch of smoke and mirrors. I stand by that. Wait until the second round of the playoffs when they have to play somebody who's decent, and they'll get schooled. Trust me.
where the Celtics don't have too many holes. It's like a team like Mavs. You just like, oh, okay, well, Jokic will eat that kid alive. He's 19, lively. Like no matter how athletic he is, Jokic will put 50 on his head every night. You can't have that big of a hole in the middle, right? You've got to have a relevant plan for your best competitors. And Jokic is still yet to be, you know, challenged by anybody. Certainly not a 19-year-old kid, you know.
And we've got so much more to talk about tomorrow night on the At the Buzzer podcast. We'll get into it, and it'll be posted Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
Uh, and until next time, may your ego come from a place that keeps you humble. I'm Mo Money. That's my homie G. He will be back for the At the Buzzer podcast and the occasional Raptor rundown when it fits into his schedule because he's a busy guy. Because I don't want nobody saying, well, G's there sometimes and G's not there sometimes.
Yeah,
People don't realize how busy you are. So on the nights you can come in and do this, thumbs up from me.
much love and
Because
respect.
a lot of people probably think we're infighting over something. And that's not true. He's just busy, people.
Hey, we can stir it up though. Everybody likes drama.
Yeah, but there's nothing worse than the fake YouTube video. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah. No, no, no.
nothing worse than the fake YouTube. Because imagine we came in. Okay, I know we're supposed to end this, but we got to touch on this.
Oh,
Imagine we're sitting there on the At the Buzzer podcast, right? And it's episode 20, and we're sitting there. Well, guys, we got something to tell you. Uh, this At the Buzzer thing, it ain't working. We both have different visions for where it's supposed to be. And this just doesn't fit our schedules anymore, and we're going in opposite directions. And we think it's just best to part ways. You know how phony that is?
that's I wasn't aware that was a thing, but I could see it being a thing.
No, no,
And
these are the couple vlog channels that you get these from.
I see,
These fake like YouTube videos.
where it's like the
Oh, we
what do they call it? Like conscious uncoupling or something, and people do it all this weird way that way.
yeah, and they do it for the views, and then they get then 2 weeks later you get this video. We're back together? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And they just play with their fans all the time, and it drives me crazy. And I don't even watch these videos. I just know they exist.
That's I think where they thrive is just they're so it's like the jingles that get in your head. It's like they're not good, but they get in your head, and that's like their goal. Um,
Like my bottom line point is this: I want you coming here for our basketball opinions. I don't want you coming here to see if me and G are having our tussle of the week, so to
you know,
speak, right?
that's it. That just comes down to with Kawhi, and unfortunately, I got nothing left to defend that dude with.
Well, maybe he'll come up big tomorrow against Denver.
Oof.
But until then, we'll be back Wednesday morning with your At the Buzzer podcast. Until then, I'm Mo, he's G, and to be honest, we'll probably talk for another half hour after this. But we'll see you Wednesday morning, everybody. Have a good one.